All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with James, Heck, Goose, and Gabe, a child's view. In this episode, the crew welcomes back special guest James Bennett Velez.
All right,
we cover
James.
topics that range from school, sports, technology, friendship, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Epictetus and Theodore Roosevelt. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off.
James.
James, thanks for joining us, man.
Building.
You're welcome.
My man.
All right, James, let us know, man. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, I like sports.
Yeah.
My favorite right now is baseball.
Yeah.
I play in the backyard with my dad.
Yeah. And you go to school. What grade are you in?
2nd grade,
How old are you?
8 years old.
You live with your parents and you have a younger brother named?
Cade.
All
We
right.
got James out here on a school night.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us, bro. We appreciate it. So there's a lot going on, and this actually came from an email that I received from one of our listeners asking about kids. Not my kid in particular, but for those who don't know, I'm the host. My name is Jimmylee, and this is my son, James. But we did get asked someone who said, hey, you guys had on kids in the past. And it was James, it was Hex,
Nova,
yeah, it was Nova, and then I think it was actually Goose's Lauren, interviewing them. It was
Yeah, kid. True. Yeah.
I think it was like the Friendsgiving one.
Oh, and
wanna
the
say.
Christmas one or something. We got the
It
elves
was
and stuff.
something like that,
It was
yeah.
holiday time.
It was a
Yeah, it was
holiday.
during the holiday season, a couple years back. But anyway, so I figured, let's have James on and, let's jump right into it, man. So you said baseballs, but what are some of your favorite things to do?
I like playing different things, not just that.
Yeah,
Sometimes I play with cars, my brother.
yeah. Well, you and your brother fight a lot.
Edit that.
All right, so what are some of the things you like? So we have a playroom at the house. So what is one of your favorite things to play with?
Besides video games in there, I would probably like playing football with the football helmets.
That's true, and we have like a poster hanging up because you're very into the different teams in the NFL, right? And what's your favorite team? Come on, we're gonna have this. It's gonna be.
I'm on blast right now.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be noted for everyone
If this
to
is
hear.
your team, you gotta man up to it. Own it.
Say it.
I don't feel like doing it.
You don't feel like saying it. All right, so he definitely likes a lot of teams. He has jerseys from probably about 15 different jerseys, all different teams across the NFL.
Probably say 15 teams.
Yeah, about that, right? And so it's good. We watch football together, right?
Yeah.
And some of the things we like to do is watching basketball. Who's your favorite? What's your favorite basketball team?
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Nice. And who's your favorite basketball player on the Sixers?
Tyrese Maxey.
Maxi.
Yeah, shout out to Maxey. Yeah, and so what about, there's another sport that you enjoy that we think is cool. We're going to try to go to one is NASCAR,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so what are your thoughts on NASCAR? Why do you like it?
I like it because it's not just because they drive around in circles for hours. It's
Yeah.
like the intense that they, like on the final lap,
Yeah.
some of them get aggressive and try clipping people, or like try to go on their top highest speed they've done all year and try to get the win.
Yeah. And then what sometimes do they do on that turn? Some go high, some go low, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys on the inside want to go as fast as they can, but the outside guys sort of do. But once it's probably another turn, they're probably going to go in the middle and then maybe come all the way down probably in like about 5 laps because all the cars are together in groups. So it would take a long time to get down there
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah, so there's strategy obviously to it. As you mentioned, it's not just going in circles, right? And then there's teams actually. There's guys out there who practice together and they're kind of setting each other up. There's a lot that goes on. Once you watch it enough, you start to pick up on these things and what angles that they're going in. And the pit stop is one of the big things,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then how did this all start? Was this all started from the movie Cars?
Yes, I believe so because I always like how Lightning McQueen mostly gets to win and he thinks he can win.
Yeah.
And it's positivity.
Yeah.
Being I'm speed. But then out of nowhere Jackson Storm comes and beats his dreams
Yeah.
to be number 1. But yeah, this all started from Cars.
Yeah. And then eventually he got his mojo back and came back and whooped some butt, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the other one. And then currently, what sports are you playing in for the rec leagues right now?
Right now, I'm playing baseball and, well, not yet soccer, but I'm practicing to start the season.
Yeah. And then for baseball, you're in the in-house and travel.
Yes.
Yeah. So how are you prepping for the season all winter long?
I'm just trying to do my best.
And then we have some workouts
Yes.
every Sunday night, indoor workouts, right?
Till we're doing that again next year, but we're done with that this year.
Yeah, we're done with they're workouts. They're not practices. They're just, conditioning. They're just doing drills, right? Catching drills, batting drills. But it's good though, right? Because
Keeping them warm in the off season, yeah.
exactly. And it gave us something to look forward to on the cold winter days, and obviously watching football and basketball. But it was nice to get some baseball in there, right?
Yeah.
And then you're excited a little bit about soccer, huh? You got a couple kids that you know on the team, or what?
Yeah, one of my best friends from school are on the team. He's a big fan of soccer.
Yes.
He's not really a fan of baseball.
Yeah.
But he just decided to come on the team with me to play with me.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's one of my friends.
It's such a cool friendship, man. That was one of the things we wanted to talk about was friendship. And we'll get back to sports, but since we're already talking about it, speak about your friends at school. You don't have to say their names or anything, but what makes a good friend?
Well, the very first thing that I tried to make a friend with was play kickball. And a lot of kids play kickball at my school.
Yeah.
So I tried to meet up with some of them, and one of the best ones that I got to meet up with was Nolan.
Yeah.
And another one was Keegan, and then the rest of them are other good friends.
Yeah. And then, so one of these guys plays hockey, right?
Yes, it's Keegan.
Right, and just how Nolan was on the soccer team, not necessarily huge into baseball, but wanted to play because you're playing. He's very excited you guys are on the same team. You showed the same kind of friendship to Keegan by doing what? You went to one of his hockey games?
Yes.
And how was that?
They lost, but you could tell he tried his best effort. The guys out there trying to get a goal.
Yeah.
Not so well. I think he was the best one out there.
Yeah.
He blocked at least seven times they tried to get it in.
He's a goalie?
That I saw. But they move him around. But his best was probably the goalie. And they got 2 goals that I saw.
Yeah.
But he said they're the worst team out of the league. But I'm like, you're the best player on the team though.
Nice, so you're encouraging him?
Yeah.
That's good. And then you went there rocking your little Flyers jersey, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. So you've gone to a Flyers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time.
What was your experience like? Do you remember?
It was very loud. The crowd was pretty. Sometimes I had to cover my ears. It was very cold.
Yes.
There were like 2 hoodies under my Flyers jersey.
Yeah.
They got a few goals. They won. It was already 2-0 before we went there. But we got in our seats. It was 2-0, and then
Yeah, he had a drop that we got there late.
we got there, but it was we only got there after the first period.
Yeah.
And
Do you know where they play at, James? Like what ice skating rink they play at?
the Wells Fargo Center,
There you go.
Oh.
And that's where, who else plays there?
the Philadelphia 76ers.
Nice. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Phillies. All right, so baseball season is upon us, right? I still believe Phillies are still in Florida. I'm not sure. But anyway, they're making treks coming down the East Coast, and the season's about to start. Good old baseball season, right? Do you remember going to your first Phillies game or one of the Phillies games?
Yes.
Maybe last year. Let's talk about last year when me, you, Mommy, and Kate went.
Yeah. When I went there, they lost by a lot, but you could tell they tried their best.
Yeah.
Because it was the final
Home game, I think.
yeah, the final home game. They were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates. Segura almost hit it to the wall, but the guy jumped up to get it out. So I don't think Harper was good. I wore my jersey of him, but besides that, they're good. Yeah.
That was fun because that game, because it was the last or final home game, they were giving a lot of stuff away. So I don't know how they came up. It was like they probably have like, not a junk drawer, but you know what I mean? They just had stuff
From,
that
like, leftovers?
accumulated
Yeah.
throughout the season. And so they're just giving away a bunch of, it was literally stuff, dude. I think one time they unbolted a seat and just one of the players signed it, and you had an actual stadium seat. And another thing was like just jerseys that they had from, grabbed from the gift
Players.
shop or
Oh,
something,
man.
or the players just started signing them.
They took knickknacks from the
baseball
gift shop into the t-shirt can and just throw it into the audience.
Exactly. And
They
then
shoot
there
at
was,
that thing.
yeah, there was season tickets for the following year. Like, it was just a bunch of stuff. It was awesome though, because you had the opportunity. It wasn't like you had to enter. It was whatever your
random?
seat was. They were picking basically out of a hat.
Oh,
So if you're sitting in seat 118 and blah blah
Kind of
blah,
like bingo.
come up and pick
Exactly.
a prize, whatever.
yeah, and well, they showed it on the big screen, and everyone was clapping, and they did it in between every single meet.
It's like a giant
inning.
raffle, whatever.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
They
awesome.
won like $2,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there was like a 50-50 going on. It was awesome. It was cool. All right, one other thing, and video game you like to play, it's just wrestling,
Yes.
right? So we've gone with Dino to WWF. I think we went to, or WWE.
Yeah.
We went to the last event of that year, right before the pandemic.
March
Right-
8th, 2020, I remember it.
There it is. All right, so explain that experience. Obviously, you remembered it.
My favorite part was when they were in the elimination chamber, and the boys, they were like, it was a tag team one, so 2 of them stayed in one of the cell things.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, that's right. And there's like a countdown, a clock
Yeah.
before they can enter in.
Heavy Machinery, they're 2 big D's. They
Yeah.
tried to eliminate one of the teams, but they just ran right. One of the big guys ran right through the glass, and they weren't eliminated yet because they have to lift up their leg for 3 seconds, or just lay on top of them for 3 seconds, and then they're eliminated. And well, they just have to get the rest out. But then I thought they were gonna win, but looks like there's tougher guys out there.
Yeah. And who's your favorite group in the in wrestling right now?
Oh, okay. My favorite tag team is the New Day.
That's right. And then who's your favorite wrestler from that, I guess.
Kofi Kingston.
There you go.
What were you allowed to bring home that day after the after wrestling matches?
A WWE belt.
So you had a belt. We already had the belt, but remember,
Oh,
because
okay.
it was, what were we sitting on?
One of the chairs, and it had like people in the pods,
Yeah.
and just standing there like the good fighters. So they let us take one of the chairs home, and we still have one in there.
Yeah, every event you guys go to, you get something cool. I never get anything cool when I go to an event.
Yeah, so it was like the chairs. Obviously, they were limited edition chairs. There were stamps if you had a particular ticket. We actually sat in those chairs, and the chair. The cool part about it is your classic folding chair, but they were cushioned, right? And on the cushion, it had a design on it that commemorated that event. And then on the seat part or the back part, it actually has the date on it. So, I mean, obviously he's going to remember very vividly because it was a cool experience.
Did it have like some like the wrestlers on the one part of the seat or something like that?
Yeah. So it had different wrestlers where you lay your head at, and other wrestlers. Oh no, because it was the same wrestlers on the head and the seat part.
Yeah. So he's saying head, but for adults, it's our back.
The back part.
It's the back part of the chair. He was just little. By the time he put his head back, it was hitting that cushion part. Goose, what were you gonna say?
No, it was just the chairs just had that day's event, like all the main events had like the wrestlers themselves, their names, and then like you guys said the date. But that was cool. We were sitting floor level, and we actually were right
cool.
by the tunnel, so we saw them come out. We were pretty close watching them come out. It was pretty cool. Dope experience.
It was dope because, like, I don't know a lot of the new age fighters or anything like that, but one of the cool experience that we had was all of a sudden the lights went out and everything, and then all you hear is the big bell gong, like, boom, and the Undertaker came out. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It was like the only recognizable figure, and one of the most recognizable figures in wrestling history. And so it was just like, it was like something for everyone. It brought I felt like I was his age all over again. It was just fun, and it's a totally and obviously it's entertainment, but they do such a good job in production to put an actual show together, and you were truly entertained. I mean, some of these guys are walking out, handing out things or throwing things, and like you said, go ahead.
So one thing about the New Day was one of the funniest things. They're throwing out pancakes to the fans.
Oh wow! Like little mini pancakes.
Yeah. I saw the guy right next to us. He's like, "I got a pancake. I'm like,
oh man, that's cool.
And you never said what your favorite was.
What?
The Ultimate Warrior.
Oh yeah, my favorite wrestler is the Ultimate Warrior. That's right. Goes down in history. Never forget it. From that entrance where he starts from the top and comes running in, slides right on into the ring, grabs hold of that top rope and just starts shaking it. There was nothing. It was so electrifying. And then he had like those tassels around his biceps. There was so much movement going on. He had like the face painted onto his chest, and he had the tassels on his boots. And he was just like, he was a maniac, and his face was painted, and his hair was like all crazy, he had a gnarly mullet. I mean, it was just cool, like everything.
Bright colors all the time too.
Bright colors, it was so much energy. I think that's what I liked about it. It was like that. And then his era kind of died down. Then it moved on to Stone Cold Steve Austin was then, I guess when I was like in middle school to,
That boy era.
Yeah. And that was just, and then after that I was done. I mean, after middle school, it was kind of like, I think 10th grade, I hung in there. But yeah, man, Ultimate Warrior. All right, so James, let's switch things up. Kind of got a little know-how or know-you type of deal, right? Mm-hmm. So school, sports, video games, entertainment. So we talked a little bit about March 8th, 2020 being the last event that we went to, and there's a lot that's gone on. It's been over 2 years now, right? So we went through, and we're currently still going through the pandemic. It's not as intense as it was 2 years ago because there's so many unknowns. But when you think of the pandemic or the coronavirus, what's like one of the first things that come to mind?
The first things that comes to mind that lowers down, I would say, are walks. We always go for a walk.
Yeah.
I like getting fresh air. Besides that, the first thing to do I would in my house is just chill out and relax. Nothing other than that.
Yeah. So when you think about me being home, is that what you're referring to? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my schedule changed for temporarily. I think it was like 1 day a week I was working from home, and from that, obviously when he got home from school, I was already home, right? Because I worked from home, and then once I was done with work, we would immediately go for a walk. But the cool part was it was 5:30 and I was home, right? Where typically it's 6:30, 7 o'clock I would get home because of the travel time. And then we go for these walks. So we hung out a lot more, yeah. And especially we had to limit our vacation and where we were doing and where we were going because of that. So we hung out the days off. It was just me. And that, what was my favorite parts of on my days off?
Going for a walk or just pitching to me out back, and then I hit the homers.
Well, what about during the day or in the morning? Was I taking you to school? I always say, like, this is my favorite part.
Yeah, that was always the best.
Yeah. And what's one thing that was different, maybe in school or something like that you had to do because of the pandemic? So what about masking? What's your views on masking? Were you having to wear a mask? Was it fun? Was it not fun?
The worst part of my life.
It was the worst part of your life. It was the masking, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about schooling from home, like getting your Chromebook out and doing your home schoolwork? How'd you feel about that?
I kind of liked it, but I just like to be done that and go to the next thing because then I only get a 3-minute break, so I like get a snack and I'm always annoyed because then we're already ready. So I don't even want to take a snack. I just want to go to the next thing and wish the Zooms were just faster.
You just want to knock it all out?
Yeah, I just want to be done for the day. I just want to do my thing at my house.
I don't think anybody's liked homeschooling, parents nor the kids.
Yeah. That was tough because you had multiple things. Your grandmom helping you at one point, your aunt helping you at another point, mommy and daddy helping you at another point. I think Kate might have distracted you the whole time.
One of the times I forget what he was doing, but I think he was building blocks like, James, you want to play with me? I'm like, I wish, but I gotta do schoolwork from home, so I'd rather be at school, but maybe I can play like a little for just 3 minutes, maybe 2, because we gotta get set up for the next subject. So, I mean, really didn't like homeschool at all.
Yeah. So you rather just be at school, knock it out, hang out with your friends while you're there, right? Because the best part, or one of the cool parts, is the recess aspect where you get a break, but you get to have fun, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And you said kickball. Is that the only thing you guys do? Didn't you guys play football in there a little bit? Or is it mainly kickball?
It's always kickball. We just sometimes use the kickballs as footballs. It's like, it sounds dumb, but like, we just want to find something to do.
Yeah.
Because we just want to take a break from kickball, and we've passed that fake football stuff. We're just doing basketball now.
Okay.
We never used to do basketball, but like now that the balls are lighter for me, I can actually shoot them in the net now.
You mean you're getting stronger?
Yes.
All right, so is there anything else you would like to talk about when it comes to school or anything that we encountered over the past 2 years?
I mean, I would like to say my favorite subject.
Okay, what was your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is mainly math on my computer because, like, sometimes I still like it in the book. Sometimes they just get a little challenging. I like a little challenge, but sometimes they go over the top too much. Sometimes.
They get a little carried away? Mm-hmm. No pun intended. Hey!
Starting now, my favorite is our cursive writing.
Oh,
We're starting
nice.
cursive.
What?
We're on like page 3, learning eyes.
Okay.
Nice. You know what my favorite subject was?
What?
Gym. Go ahead, say it's not a
That-
subject.
Tell
Well,
'em.
we don't really call it a subject.
I was going to say, that's an activity.
We call it our special.
And your specials alternate, right? You do different type of activities?
Yeah. We don't just do it we can't just do all of them in the time. So today, Monday, it was library, then tomorrow's going to be music. Then the third day is we stay in our classroom and go on our computers and do whatever we want on there.
Yeah.
4 is art, one of my favorites.
Nice.
And 5 is gym to end off the week for me, and it's always fun doing gym after that.
Yeah.
That's why it was my favorite subject.
It's Friday then.
And so someday what?
All right. So let's switch gears up again. We talk a lot about dream building, right?
Yes.
When you're in the car in the back seat, probably rolling your eyes at dad, talking smack. No, but in all seriousness, we're always talking about this, right?
Yeah.
So what is something that you would think you would want to be when you're older? Or maybe you already know what you want to be when you're older, or do?
I really don't know what my dream job would be, but I would like to do football, but Mommy won't let me. But I'm just gonna and probably do it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just wanna be a
think I
punter.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I think it's from a mother's perspective. I think she's talking about the contact sport part, the
Yes.
contact part. She doesn't want you getting.
And I told her before my favorite is punting. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen?
So I mean, it is a context. Anything could happen, but from mommy's point is the contact part. But you're still little. You're only 8, so there's plenty of time to figure all that out. But even just for the strategy part of it, maybe planning or coaching is always an option as well, because you're
Yeah.
obviously into play calling when we're playing Madden, right? And you like to look at other people's controllers.
My favorite would probably be when the running back goes, I get the ball, and he goes, like, he's right next to me right here, and he goes like all the way down the field, and I throw a ball to him.
Nice.
Every time I do that play, I get a touchdown.
Really?
Nice.
Well, you just told the world what your strategy was, bub.
They don't know my other secret strategy,
Oh,
though.
snap. All right, so potentially, you don't know what your dream job is per se, but
Yes.
potentially football, right? What else?
Probably maybe baseball. I like left field. I can always get the far balls and like use my arm strength. I don't like just being at second and the base is like right where Gabe is, but that's not really the real length. But I'm just saying it feels like a
Just
baby
closer.
pass
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, you like to launch it. Mm-hmm. Nice little crow hop there.
I don't really like throwing it to the
Cut off?
yes.
You like it direct, straight to the bag, huh? Second, third, or home?
Because you know I have a good arm.
Yeah.
Because they probably barely have time to get to the base if I use my arm.
Yeah.
Because maybe if it's a long throw, they're probably a quarter of going to second, and I'm probably just about to getting the ball. And I'm in left field, so I could just throw it to them, and they could like throw it back and forth, or just run up to the guy and get him out.
That's true. So talking about getting to these, professions or whatever, we talk a lot about school, right?
Yeah.
Is that anything you're thinking as an 8-year-old to pursue college?
Are you talking about like once I get older, what's my goal there?
Yeah. Yeah. After high school, then what?
Well, I really in college would like to drive myself to school.
Yeah. All right, my man got the.
Nice.
Speaking of which, so you got a goal to drive yourself to school, right? So one thing we always talk about is dream building.
Yeah.
And what's some of the stuff, some of the list that you have on your phone?
Okay. I have I write down what cars I want when I'm older. Some of them aren't even close to being possible. But I'm not
You gotta dream big.
I'm
It's
not
possible.
saying
They're
we
all
can't
possible.
do it.
Yeah, they're
but
all possible. Right. You're just saying
It's
that
just
they're
going to be
pretty high.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
One of my favorite was the Lamborghini Urus.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's right. That's the one he's been stuck on. What's another one that's on that list?
The Mustang SUV.
Yeah.
And here's a big one, a Bugatti.
Wow.
Oh, God.
You sound like Dino. Yeah, and then out of nowhere he'll say, on the list there's like a random Buick, and he's
When
just
I'm
like all
older,
over.
when I'm older.
Oh, you want the old man car already?
Settle down, Carl.
It's like, relax, guys. Driving myself to school.
Once I saw my mom's car, all this buttons in there, I'm like, this is a nice car. Because there's like the glazed wood.
Yeah.
There's like all that stuff over there.
It's all shiny.
The luxury
buttons.
cars.
Yeah. Well, what does she have now?
She has a Cadillac now, which I also like. I like all cars here.
That's right. So going back to our walks when he was a baby, there was a time where I actually did work from home full time. But anyway, so then James was born, and then when we go on our walks, our thing was all the parked cars, I would just name them, right? And to the point where he's like us. When our grandma used to watch us, and we used to live on a main street. So if we sat on either one of those porches, hundreds of cars would pass by us. So after a while, you start to pick up the shape of the car, the bumper, whatever. And then obviously emblems and logos. And after a while, you could just, from a distance, you can call out a car and just know, so that's how, James started calling out cars or whatever. And it was just funny.
I could tell from a far way which is a car that looks like no other car.
What's that?
Probably a Ford, because Rams and Dodge kind of look like each other.
Yeah.
But the Fords are like humongous. You had one before.
You're talking about the trucks.
Yes.
Yeah, the Ford F-150. Yeah.
Once I saw yours, and then I could tell all the other trucks that looked like that, and it said Ford F-150 on the side.
Yeah.
I'm like, all I saw was F-150, so I'm like, that's a Ford.
Yeah.
Because the body type, sometimes I look back at your truck and then look back at that car, and I'm like, they look identical. Not identical, but like
similar.
They're just both Ford.
Yeah. And what kind of car does Theo have?
A Jeep Gladiator.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does Dino have?
Forget the name. I just has the emblem has the flag that is blue and white. Let's just skip that for a moment.
Well, right now I ain't got nothing. Just in the shop, so you're probably right. You're right.
That one.
Are you still thinking? The Teal got it.
BMW.
Dang. All right. All right. So, what question or questions do you have for us? Do you have any questions for us or for an adult?
What was your dreams when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, when I was your age, when I was 8, I think pretty much the same thing. I wanted to be a baseball player. Or the Ultimate Warrior. So I was really just, I mean, we were on the same, I guess, level at that point. Interestingly, I was just talking about this to one of my mentors, talking about my dad took me to, this is when I was going regularly with my dad to flea markets. And I was telling him when I was 8 years old, so I was literally your age.
Wasn't about that scooter or something?
No, that was later on. That was later on. But how my dad, so we would go when we go with one of my dad's friends, Vince. So we would set up right next to each other. So my dad had to use the bathroom. Vince was like, hey, or my dad was like, Vince, can you stay with, and then I walked over with Vince, whatever, we just hung out, whatever. Long story short, people were coming up to look at, some of the stuff to buy. And I never forget, my dad was gone. He ended up going to the bathroom, then he got in line to buy us food. It was like lunchtime or something like that, but the line, I guess, was longer. So he come back like 15 minutes later. And Vince was just like laughing, and my dad's like, what? He's like, I don't know, ask him what happened in the last 15 minutes. And I was just selling stuff. So I handed my dad, like money, and it was like $120. But it was funny, I made $120, but it was my dad's stuff. But when I was 8, at that moment, I thought, I was like, man, maybe one day I'll be like, a businessman or something like that. And then, but anyway, it's funny. But we're kind of on the same page, dude. Same thing, second grade. I remember second grade very vividly. But you're a lot smarter and cooler. Mm-hmm. Big difference. Oh,
No.
and smoother.
Move, boy.
Another thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Cage big dreams.
Yeah.
Dude.
We're talking about my 3-year-old son now. So what is his big dreams?
He wants to be a pterodactyl when he's older.
He wants to be a
Pterodactyl.
Sounds about right.
Now that sounds like Dino.
I asked him what's his favorite driver. He's like, M&M's. I'm like, I mean, at least you know what the
What's on the car?
What's on the car? Yeah,
the
he's talking
sponsor?
about NASCAR.
sponsor.
Yeah. And who drives the M&M's car?
Kyle Busch, number 18.
Nice. So we want to talk a little bit about technology outside of video games and the such. What for school? You all each have your own little laptop, right?
Yeah.
What is something that you look forward to when you utilizing your laptop? Is it just the schoolwork, or is there anything else?
For win time, we call it. It's short for what I need. We use our computers. We can pick whatever subject we go on. We pick reading or math. But then once 15 minutes are up, we use 30 minutes altogether. And then I'm always reading them math for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Reading, I think sometimes is harder.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they just make me read books. I mean, it's literally called reading, but besides that, like, make me fill in a sentence. They, like, say a sentence for me. Other than that, for math, I type a number and then I press enter on my keyboard and it should be right, and then
Solve the problem.
Yeah.
So is that better than actually writing? So do you prefer having the laptop and the technology there? Obviously, you mentioned Zoom earlier, so there's a lot that goes into the technology. Is it easier doing that, or do you prefer it, or would you?
I like writing. I don't like typing things up on my keyboard. I already know what the letters are in my brain to write it down, but I wish they could just put in ABC order.
Yeah. Oh, on the keyboard.
It's like A, S, D in the third row. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a little all over the place, right? Okay, so let's switch up one more time. You talked about Cade. What's it like being an older brother?
It's difficult because sometimes he wants me to do that, but then I want to do that. Sometimes that's how we get into our fights.
So you guys want to do the same thing, or you want to do two different things?
Different things.
Okay.
But he's a lot big of a crier now.
Yeah.
Because I won't.
Calling him out.
I mean, that's really what he does. If I don't do that, I said, I'll do it in a little bit. He just starts crying.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to hear it.
So
I just do it.
So you guys are 4.5 years apart, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously the toys and stuff are totally different. It's a big age gap at that at that early stages there. All right, we're gonna go around the horn here. All the guys are gonna ask you a very random question.
Okay.
So James, what this baseball season, what are you looking forward to? I know you're in a different league this year, right?
Yes.
So what are you looking forward to in this coming season?
When I'm with the other kids, like the kids that are my age, I'm thinking about it's probably going to be a little more settled than the other guys. One of my coaches says the 9-year-olds pitch 43 miles per hour, which I don't believe.
That's some heat, pal.
That's pretty fast.
It's probably just getting you ready for it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm happy to be with kids my age. I think it's going to be a little bit better for me.
Yeah.
Nice. James, what did we do yesterday? Where did we go? All of us.
We went bowling.
Do you find that competitive sport?
Yes.
And how so?
The ball, like the controls of the ball. I had just the ball in my hand and rolled it. It always kept bouncing on the thing, which
On the bumper.
was
the
kind
bumper
of
lanes on
yeah.
the
It kept
kind of
annoying
all
me
over the
because then when they go down, what else am I gonna do? It's always gonna be over there. So I tried putting my 2 fingers in. I don't like putting the 3. It's like this.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel you have more control when you do it that way? Put your fingers in the hole to grip it?
I told Nova another way is like this, but these 2 fingers are gonna be in the ball.
Yeah.
So then you can like control it more.
Mm-hmm.
It's better now. You saw I got a spare once. You told me about that.
Yeah.
Literally the roll after you told me that I got a
You
spare.
picked up the spare and you broke 100.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your highest score yesterday? I think you beat Deal.
102.
Yeah.
Oh, we tied you.
Yeah. I think I had 106. So you're definitely better than me. For your age, to my age, 102 is definitely good. I should have been up in 130s, and I was at 106.
saw the score that you sent me. I saw Lauren's and Jesse's and Mommy's.
I sent you that
beat
one?
Yeah, you sent me that one.
Oh, I thought you
beat the girls?
Yep, I beat all of them.
That was a good time.
What was important with that was everyone, the whole family got together, played some bowling. Even we had who else? The oldest person in our family was there.
Abuela.
Abuela. She's 80 years old. We had her bowling,
wait.
you know?
So that was cool, and we had some pizza, some soda.
Yeah.
That was fun, right? We had a good old time.
Good turnout.
All right, Gabe, what's your question for James?
Is there a sport you want to play that you haven't tried yet?
I would really want to try out basketball, but I was thinking it would be like the size of what the professionals use as the ball.
The ball's too big for you.
But then once Jaden said one of my friends said he was playing basketball, he had like the size of what the basketball they were using. So then I got more into basketball. So once that happened, I really, really want to try basketball.
Yeah.
I mean into sports.
All right, James. Well, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it. We like to wrap things up with quotes, and the first one is by Epictetus. All right, James. How about you read it right here? The sentence.
It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus.
Nice. And now read the second quote by Theodore Roosevelt.
Do what you can with what you have. Where you are, Theodore Roosevelt.
A child's view in this episode. The crew welcomes back special guest James Bennett Velez. We cover topics that range from an 8-year-old's perspective, school, sports, friendship, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from
Epictetus.
and Theodore Roosevelt.
Epictetus. I can barely even say it, bro.
Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.